And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of ESL Open Cup Asia number 230. A very special edition, as most players are traveling. Most of the top tier contenders for the ESL Asia Open Cup are traveling and coming back home from DreamHack Dallas, from the land of the Americas. But we still have a lineup of players, quite a lineup of players here tonight. Of course, I'm your host, Live VIP. With me, I'm joined by the people in the chat, by these amazing players, and we're diving into our first series. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of our Kione, we have our red Praetor player from the land of Kazakhstan. It is Praetor. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Praetor player, the blue Praetor, representing himself. Currently teamless, but returning from the military, it is Trap. Whew, let us go. And yeah, honestly, I'm really excited. Like, I'll be honest, I saw the bracket. One, I was surprised to see how many players signed up and checked in, and two, I was surprised how competitive it was. I saw like a comment in the chat talking about how, like, oh, you know, this week's Open Cups, like Asia, EU, and America is going to be so easy because everyone's traveling and everyone's going to be jet lagged and no one's going to make it home in time. I mean, if we look at the bracket, I don't agree. In the sense that I feel like the skill level of all these players, is actually quite similar, to the point where it's hard to say who's gonna make it through. There is one big notable, and that is Solar. Solar, he's all the way in the top half of the bracket, so I'm really curious to see, is he playing from the Americas or did he come home early? If you remember, Solar, he got knocked out in the open stage, if I remember correctly. He didn't make it into day 2 or day number 3, which means Solar may have just gone home early after what had happened, and he may already be in Korea as a result. Like, he may just be in Korea, or he could be playing from like a hotel. It's possible. But yeah, for those who maybe weren't watching, we casted Solar's series on this channel. It was on Saturday. Solar was in the open stage against Rogue, and Solar did end up bowing out in the end in a ZVZ versus Rogue. It was a very, very bittersweet moment seeing Rogue advance on and Solar get knocked out before even the knockout bracket. It was, yeah, a pretty insane result, and a pretty rough upset as well. But Solar did go down in the early rounds. But now we're getting to our PvP, and it's going to be a double gate opener here at a Trap, opening up double Adept. Meanwhile, Praetor opening up double Gateway as well, going into double Stalker production into a Robo on one base. Interesting, delaying quite heavily our expansion. Very safe opener here at a Praetor. He hasn't seen too much shenanigans here as we are expanding, so yeah, just a very safe build from our red Praetor player. This safe build can turn into an aggressive one. Ooh, as the Adept shade in. Adept shade into the main base. Probes are going down. And we get a full scout as well. We get confirmation of the Robo. From here, we can throw down a third gateway, go for a prism, move out across the map, start immortal production. We can turn this into a one base all in, but 6 probes go down already. That is an insane amount of damage. And Praetor, what is our plan going to be here? Again, I feel like expanding is not going to be on the table. I feel like we got to send it. But what do we send out? It's going to be the immortal. Okay, it's going to be an immortal first here. It looks like we do want to try to turtle up here on our 2-base setup, but alas, Trap is taking up from here. We have a Twilight Council, we have Blink on the way, we have our expansion on the low ground. Trap is moving out for a follow-up scout. Again, Trap needs to confirm whether this is an all-in. He needs to confirm whether or not we ever expand. And, oh, dips in. Confirms a lack of Nexus. Does get eyes on the immortal now on the way. Still only 2 gateways. From here, we can go for a prism again to reinforce across the map. We'll go for a proxy pylon and a proxy gateway instead. And back at home, shield battery. Back at home, Trap, he's respecting this army. He's throwing down shield batteries. He's getting ready for the push. Extra warp in, sentries banking up energy. We are getting ready, and here comes the one base all in. There's that prism on the way again, so we can reinforce on the front lines. Praetor did bleed out a lot of workers earlier. Now it's all or nothing for Praetor. Praetor does catch a Stalker. Not a bad start. Every unit counts right now in this early game. Second shield battery is on the way. Ooh, and a second pylon. We're going to have an overcharge as well. Trap is getting ready Force Field's going to be making these a little bit more awkward, creating a choke point to push through. So far, very clean defense here by Trap. He's going to be able to hold his own, buy some time. Force Field's run out. We do open an extra wave of sentries. Okay, I mean, Blink is done, so Force Fields are going to be as impactful here for Trav. We're going for the main. We're trying to, but we're forced to fight, forced to engage. Again, the Immortal adding quite a bit here for Praetor, breaking through a decent line of Stalkers. But again, the longer this goes on, the worse it is, and we pull back to the shield batteries. Trap getting ready in the main, just in case we did dive in. Praetor pushing towards the natural, does get one shield battery. Up! Juggles just in time, but we have the overcharge. Yeah, with the overcharge, we can hold our own. We can focus down the Immortal. We do barely save it. Up! At least a little bit longer, but the Prism goes down. We dive on the Prism, we dive on the Immortal, and Trap will shut this down. GG, well played. Trap takes game number 1. GG. A pretty interesting all-in here at a Praetor. Again, unfortunately, it did take a little bit to actually get underway, to actually hit. Oh, Bobby. But a big shout out to Chase in the chat. Oh my god, thank you so much for resubscribing, Bobby. Thank you for the support. Thank you for resubscribing for 18 months. Thank you. Thank you. Much love, much love. Much love, Bobby. How is Sign playing? Sign might be playing from North America. He might be. He might be. That's the thing. Like my assumption here is, I mean, if we cast Solar, then I'll ask him if he's back in Korea already, or not. Just catching up. But here we go. We're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our red Protoss player down to the series, but looking to bounce back. The red Protoss player, it is Praetor. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing himself, currently teamless, returning from the military, leading the series 1-0. It is Trap. Here we go. Chat, it's crazy there's only 10 points between Coffee and Cyan. Oh, okay. Because of that, as is being stated in the chat, EPT points are going to be so important for them. Having good standing and having a good run in some of these tournaments is going to be so important for them. And again, Coffee and Cyan are not unfamiliar with even making it to the semifinals. I mean, here in this tournament, it's going to be an even tougher kind of race to grab those points. So I do wish them the best of luck. We had that once in a year when Lambo stacked like 5 points or so. Yeah, I think I remember that being the case. I think it was like 2 years ago or something, a couple of years ago, where EPT points did matter. The weekly points mattered, I should say. Came down to the wire. And Showtime is playing. Yes, Showtime is playing against the winner of the series. As you can imagine, that's the reason why we dove on this series, on this PvP, because Showtime is lying in wait. And I would love to see how they compare to each other. But now we're getting into our openers. It's going to be a 2-gate opener by Trap. Likewise, 2-gate opener by Praetor. And we'll see if Praetor embraces a 1-base all-in once again. What I was going to get into is that the 1-base all-in in the last game was hindered because of the economic damage done earlier. Likewise, I believe that also did impact the amount of gateways we had available as well. So it was a bit of a weird offbeat all-in from Praetor. It was a little bit less than ideal. But I would hope that he's going to have a bit of a cleaner early game this time to make that all-in a little bit more impactful, if that's what we go for. As this time, ooh, a bit of a greedier build here. Trap skipping his second units, going for a sentry into expand. A much more greedier build here from Trap, and Praetor, who is denied his expansion. And Pylon is going to be thrown down. Praetor, thankfully, has a Stalker on the way, will end up shutting down this Pylon and can eventually expand. Twilight Council on the way behind this. Very fast Twilight Council, fast Blink. Okay, you have my attention. Blink is going to be on the horizon for our red Protoss player. Meanwhile, across the map, Trap going for a safety Robo. Okay, so really fast expansion followed by the Robo. This should be for Immortal production. Trap, he needs to pump out those Immortals as quickly as possible. Set up a shield battery here on the low ground and get ready to defend the aggression of Praetor. There is a proxy pylon on the map. This looks like another 1-base all-in, but this looks like potentially a 4-gate blink all-in. There's blink on the way. We will proxy at least one gateway. We might even proxy the second gateway as well, just to keep them hidden. As hallucination comes in, gets a full scout of the main, confirms only 2 gates. Hallucination will get out. There's the one proxy gateway, so for now it's going to be 3-gate blink. Again, I believe on 1-base you can afford a 4th gateway, but for now, just 3 gates. And back at home, Trap is amassing that Immortal. Again, just a really safe follow-up after a greedy build from Trap. So just, again, pumping out as many Immortals as he can. There's going to be at least 1, potentially 2 Immortals. Meanwhile, there is the 4th gateway. So, yep, 1 gate, 4 gate. 1 gate, what? Sorry. 1 base. 1 base, 4-gate blink all-in for Praetor. It's all or nothing. And we scout the proxy. Oh, we scout the proxy. We scout the pylon behind the mineral line as well. Trap is more or less aware of what's going on. And we're getting ready. Even a second pylon on the high ground, just in case. Trap making sure he doesn't get caught off guard. Do love to see it. Stalkers are warping in. And having a look at the units tab here, we have 9 Stalkers for Praetor. 9 Stalkers and a Sentry. Is massing up. But pushing up this ramp is going to be brutal. We even have a fake Immortal. Let's go. Intentionally moving forward to tank some shots. Ooh, does confirm. Not adding too much to the fight here, but ooh, we have the high ground. Massive volleys go off. We take down a Stalker. We take down a Sentry. A very strong start for Trap, as Praetor did phase check up the ramp. Now we pull back to the safety of the shield battery. Again, 3rd pylon on the way on the high ground. I wouldn't mind a 2nd pylon down here, but honestly, there's no breaking this 3 Immortal setup. Adept's going to be shading in, but we have a probe in position to wall off. We don't quite wall off. We commit with the army. Praetor is going to dive in. A nice force field out of Trap. Oh my god. We get the force fields, limit charges popped, and the Immortal does go down. We get 1 Immortal, but only 1. We have 2 more left, and we clean up the entire army. The army crumbles. GG. Good luck in the next round, as Trap will take the series 2-0. We'll take down Praetor. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Trap, as he does take the first series. Again, he came in as the favored player. Did come in as the favorite player here, but a shout out to Praetor. I appreciate that he didn't just go for the same build 2 games in a row, different all-ins, and especially in that first game, didn't have a bad, didn't have necessarily the worst showing against Trap. Was able to, you know, take down some units and face off against him. For those that are curious, Praetor is a diamond player, and hey, you can say, yo, I killed some of Trap's Stalkers. Let's go. I always remember when I was in diamond. I always remember when I killed Keen's first Reaper. Yeah. Good stuff, good stuff. So a big shout out to Praetor. Thank you so much for competing here this week, especially up against some of the other big names and big players in the scene. And now Trap will advance on. We'll advance on into his next series, into another PvP. And this is what we've been waiting for.